now with this group, perhaps some good consistency?
Yeah. We played really good these past 2 wins at home. We're figuring some consistency out. I think what's been real helpful is, with Lance being in that second unit, now we have two groups that are putting points on the board. And, it's not a case of when first unit goes out, second unit comes in, we're flat. I think Lance has really done a great job of kind of fixing that second unit up.
In what ways is he a different player than he was 3 years ago? Has he changed it, or is he still the same guy?
Nah, Lance is the same guy. Same guy. I mean, he's more confident in his abilities, even more so than he was. But he's still same Lance. He's gonna make plays off the dribble. I think where he's really improved is his catch and shoot.
Being able to now, as you mentioned, string together, 3 very good performances, 2 wins. Is there starting to be a gathering sense that maybe you guys have found something that maybe you are now rebuilding back towards something here late in the year?
Yeah, well, I think it's that sense of urgency we've been talking about. I think it's finally starting to hit home. The sense of urgency now is in the sense of we need to win all of these games to have a chance to play much further than April. So I think that's really what it's coming to. We're locked in right now, but we saying that picking up home wins, we got to have this same talk and really the same feeling going on the road.
Do you feel like that sense of urgency you're talking about is maybe being most felt in the way you're creating offense off defense? A lot of turnovers to a lot of points tonight, and to an extent against Toronto. Do you feel like that's maybe where it's being seen on the floor?
Yeah, we're definitely tightening up on our defensive end. I thought even we had a great defensive stand in Cleveland. That team is just offensively gifted, but these past couple of games, we've definitely tightened it up on the defensive end. We made the game a lot easier for ourselves, creating offense off our defense. And I think the biggest key is getting stops. We're not coming down on the offensive end against a team loaded up on us already. So I think that's the biggest thing. Whether we're getting steals or not, turnovers or not, I think our defense forcing teams to miss shots has been the key for us to get off to a good start offensively.
Is it nice for you to see, Paul, because you've had to have these highly elevated nights to get these games tonight? Other people were jumping in. You didn't have to have one of those kind of. Is that, in a strange way, you were just kind of good tonight instead of awesome? Is it good?
Yeah. It's always good. As much as I enjoy being amazing, I take a couple great nights. No, at this point, we need everybody. It's only going to help us going down the stretch. Of everybody feeling involved and everybody knowing that they play a big role in our success, not just me going out trying to save the team night after night. But it's good. It's good. We can have a well-balanced game across the board.
Paul, you talked about the road. What kind of mentality do you have to take into these 2 road games? Because you guys haven't played very well on the road, obviously.
Yeah, well, we can't fall into the trap of these teams necessarily not making playoffs and relax against them. We got to finish the job, carry out the mission of picking up, wins that we should get, and just attacking it as professional. We want to make the playoffs. That's where our mindset is, and we got to attack these 2 teams coming up like they're playoff teams.
Paul, you mentioned wanting to make the playoffs, and that's where your mindset is, but it was interesting as Miles was answering a question, he just sort of stopped and he said, if we could just make the playoffs in sort of a frustrating way, is it the focus obviously on what you have to do on the road and to finish out the season to get to the playoffs? Are you using a one game at a time mantra, or are you sort of thinking what you can do in the playoffs, so if you could just make the playoffs and that's sort of feeding these 3 games and so on?
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. The frustrating part about it is not taking care of the games, in November, December, not taking care of the games we should have way earlier, and then knowing that we playing at this level that we're playing at, it's the team we should have been, and it's what it's gonna take, man. Everybody's got to be into it. We all sense the same frustration Miles has, it's tough that here we are fighting for a spot when this all could have been avoided.
How much are you paying attention to Chicago and Miami?
A lot, man. You got to be mindful of what they're doing. Again, we don't really control our destiny to an extent. We got to, again, rely on a little help with those guys losing games. But only thing we can do is just, give ourselves a fighting chance.
When Memphis knocked you out of the playoffs 2 years ago, of course you were hurt and didn't play to the very end. I think you might have got re-injured yourself in that game. How was that feeling that night that you guys knew you got beat and you walked off the court knowing you're not going to be in the playoffs?
It was tough. It was tough. You don't want that feeling of coming down to the last game and losing. That's like a game 7, losing a game 7 and going home. That was our playoff game that night, and we lost. It didn't feel good, especially being injured in that game. That didn't feel good. So it was frustrating for everything.
Thanks.